What's up, creeps? Exorcist here, and you are tuned in to another edition of Scurred. All right, in the hopper, we have a special review for you guys. I don't know if it's special, but the film itself was kind of special, definitely different, and for a few reasons. So we'll get into it. What we're reviewing is X, this naughty slasher film that came out 2022, stars Mia Goth, has the lovely Brittany Snow, who plays her character to a T. Also, Martin Henderson, Owen Campbell, just a really great cast of people. Some known names, some not known names, and every single one of them was important to the plot. So what is the plot? What's going on with this movie X? There's a bunch of hype. This does fall on IMDb's top 50 horror movies in the world right now. So obviously a popular film, and what's going on with it? I actually took several weeks before I would watch this movie. And I don't know if it just felt too taboo or what. But what I do know is it's distributed by A24. And that's what got me the most. A lot of A24 movies are just so good that they're creepy. A24 does this awesome job of like taking these almost real life scenarios, and then the next thing you know, boom, you're in it, and you feel like it could happen to you. So they did it on a relatively low budget. They say about $1 million. Box office did pretty well at $15 million. So they made their money's worth in the whole idea. And to my understanding, they're working on a sequel as we speak, which, you know, a lot of the characters might not be in it. But we do know one main character will be in it, and that's something to talk about. But let's get into it. Let's talk about plot a little bit. Then we'll go through the whole Scurred system, and we'll see where this thing ends up. I actually think it's going to turn out pretty well for X. So the whole plot, the whole thing, which I think so taboo. This group of people, they're going to go make a porno. See, I'm not blushing or anything. But that's the whole idea. That's the whole plot of the movie. And this is really iconic. Even though this is a 2022 movie, pornography, nudity, and horror have always really gone hand in hand. A horror movie is like a porno that you can say you're watching in your living room a lot of the time and get away with it because it's not actually a porno. It's just a horror movie. And this one was kind of like that. There were some pretty spicy scenes. Kids didn't watch this one with me, okay? And for good reason. But they decide they're going to embark out on this journey. They're going to make this porn film. They're all going to be stars. They're going to make so much money. And it's just going to be great. They just have to find the perfect place to shoot. And they do. Really, they arrive at this place. It's essentially a farm. And they have a guest house. And there's two very elderly people that own the home. And they're creeps right out of the gate, right? Because they're old people, and you're like, old people are creepy. But Howard and Pearl, okay, the owners of the estate, give them some pretty serious rules. Say, don't do this, don't do this. Yeah. All we're here to do is our thing. And they really don't say what that thing is for a while. Not that it's too hard to figure out once things start going. So that leads us into what starts happening, and there's some jealousy, and there's some, and once the jealousy fight happens, what happens? One of them leaves. The minute one of them leaves, they try to get in the truck and drive away. As they do that, here's creepy old Pearl standing in the middle of the road, okay? So he gets out of the car and goes up to Pearl, and Pearl's like, I know I'm 107, but I want you. Okay, creepy old lady. And this is particularly disturbing if you've had scenarios like this happen to you. Let's just say I'll never volunteer at a nursing home again. Ever. I hope you do, though. I hope you'll have good experiences. Just the one experience I had is enough to turn me inside out. I had kind of a Pearl-esque resident. So none of that for me. My days are gone. Anyway, the whole thing starts to turn into an absolute slasher film from there. Okay, people are dying everywhere. They're getting shot, they're getting stabbed, they're getting run over by trucks. There's all kinds of stuff happening. And it's exactly what it is. It's a downright slasher film. And for a slasher film, it's pretty darn good. Typically your slasher film is we're in this remote location, which this fits that bill. There's one killer, and every time somebody goes, "I'll be right back," they're dead. This one really isn't that way. There's a lot happening. There's relationships that are building while some people are getting all jacked up, and it's like the creepy old people. It's really creepy. Okay, so that's kind of the fun of it. They this elderly couple is really trying to get into them, and it goes bad from there. So slasher after that point, all over the place. Slash, 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 you're dead, you're dead, you're dead, you're dead. I have to give a homage to some of the cast, okay? And that's where we're going to start with our Scurred system and really start working down this thing. So Mia Goth, first of all, was awesome in this movie. Brittany Snow, I think, played her part to an absolute T. This gal was designed to be a porn star, or at least pretend to be one, because she did damn good. I'll just put it that way. I was extremely convinced with her character. And, really, the names that they picked out of this, I'm going to see if I can pick up the list. Yes, this does feel very Texas Chainsaw Massacre, by the way. It's kind of an interesting throwback, really. But first you have Max, or Maxine, who's the main character. Pearl, who's the old lady. Jenna Ortega plays Lorraine Day, and then Brittany Snow is Bobby Lynn Parker. I'm going to say it again, Bobby Lynn Parker. I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Ted, but he's like, what's her name? Tammy. Tammy Jo, Tammy Jean, Bobby Lynn Parker. Okay? That's exactly what's going on there. She deserves to be in the spotlight. We'll put it that way. Now, Scott Mescudi, he plays a guy named Jackson Hole. And to me, of all the names you could pick in the industry, I'm not going to lie, that's probably one of my favorites. I mean, how could you not want to watch a movie that stars a guy named Jackson Hole? What? I gave him a point for cast. I think that the whole cast is absolutely fantastic, from the youngsters in the porn film all the way up to the old baddies that scare the living hell out of me. Everybody in this movie did a fantastic job. There was no bad acting whatsoever. So on the Scurred scale, yes, they get 1 point. Now the setting, if there were ever a setting that is cliche in a slasher movie, it's this like old farmhouse, right? But this is a guest house outside of a farmhouse that's off, in its wooded setting, which seems right. But then you have to, along with the setting, you have to factor in why they're there. I mean, they're Airbnb in this place to do it. I mean, quite literally, they're going to film a porn here. And that changes the setting a little bit. This is no longer the scary deep dark woods. This is a porn set in the deep dark woods. So they actually kind of have two settings, and I think it's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. So I did give X a point for setting. So cast, setting, check, very good. Plot, who thinks of this stuff? I don't even have to sit here and explain how brilliant this plot is. I mean, that's what it comes down to, is it's a porno slasher. I don't know if there's a better combination, and whoever thought of this and pulled it off for a $1 million budget, kudos to you, because this is awesome. And so for plot, you got it. FX, special effects were just perfect, nothing too over the top, as some slasher films are pretty good about. Most of them are pretty good about just saying, here's the kill, here's how I did it, here's the weapon, here's the splat of blood, and we're done. And this movie follows suit with that. Everything I would expect in a slasher movie. So for effects, yes, they get a point. Continuity, this is kind of fun. This movie flows really, really, really well. And even though there's multiple scenes happening at multiple times, they all seem to pan in right. And every time the hacking starts, somebody else is doing something else. Literally. So it's actually kind of fun because even though it bounces here to there, here to there, here to there, here to there, it continuously trends towards everyone's going to die. It's a slasher film, for goodness sake. So had to give him a point for continuity. It just flows well and it makes sense. Now, my favorite part of this whole movie comes right down to the antagonists, okay? Howard and Pearl. Now, at first glance, it seems like Pearl is just the bad guy all the way around, and, old Howard's just a confused old husband. But the truth is, they're both pretty gnarly. He knows exactly what's wrong with this old woman, and he helps, participates, you name it. So while you could say the antagonist is really Pearl, Howard plays a role in this. They actually all kind of play a role in this, but if we were just picking a standalone antagonist saying, okay, who is the absolute one that we have to say is the bad guy in this movie? Yeah, it's Pearl, okay? But she has help along the way. And if we're just Pearl, that is scary, okay? She's creepy. They did a great job. I mean, I get the vibes all over the place. Again, maybe based on personal experience, but the one thing I know is I do not want to be caressed by like a 1,000-year-old woman who's about to give me the knife. I don't know what you're thinking. Knife is what I was going to say the whole time. So yeah, point for antagonist. Now the ending, I did not give them a point for the ending. I think they left it way too open-ended, and it just seemed like what's the word I'm looking for? It was very, the end, very, very instant, very quick cut off. You go through this whole experience, you're building emotional bonds with these porn stars and these killer grandmas, and then, bloop, done. And, the police are like, what the hell is on this tape? Watch it. A, always watch the tapes. You'll find something. B, everything is on the damn tapes. Watch them. So, kind of a predictable thing. There was one little fundamentalist preacher thing at the end that I thought, that was a good tie-in. Overall, I didn't like the ending. They left it wide open for a sequel. Sounds like they're working on one. So we'll see it. And who knows? They're talking Maxine, 3 X's. So maybe the sequel will be a slasher film extraordinaire as well. I don't know. They didn't get a point for ending. When we get into the Scurred scale, up at the top we have spooked, we have shaken, and then we have scurred. And you get a point if you hit each one of those levels. This movie, though it's a slasher film, and I traditionally don't find slasher films creepy, the antagonist is scary as hell. So I did give them a spooked point. I didn't give them shaken or scurred because I don't think it was all that scary. But darn, lady, that you're creepy. The interesting thing, okay? The interesting thing about this creepy old lady is this creepy old lady is not only creepy, she's also played by Mia Goth. And that's what blew my mind. Because I had no idea the entire time. I watched this entire film, all of X, and it wasn't until the end that I was like, wait, Mia Goth was both Max and the crazy old woman who wasn't actually that old? I thought to myself, it was, I don't know how you put it. It was very scary and very, I don't know what the word is, but it was weird to find out she played dual roles. I'll take it nonetheless. So we did give them a spook point, which would bring them to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 for this film X. And I agree with that. It might be a little shy of a total True Blue 7, but in the horror genre of slasher, 7 is really hard to get, in my opinion. I don't think there's a lot of good slasher films out there that are flat out 7s or even 8s. So this one's pretty high on the list, and I give them kudos for that. Okay. All in all, I would say check out the film. A24 is one of the coolest studios. They distribute a ton of really weird, creepy movies. This one included. So big kudos to A24. Really love what they do and all of their stuff. Yeah, check it out, but don't check it out with young people. Okay, let's keep this one. It is rated R, but it's a little nasty. Let's put it that way. There's a lot of scenes in there. Like I said, I don't want the kids to see. This one is one I watched when everybody went to bed. So do the same thing, okay? Protect your kids. They don't need to see this stuff. Let kids be kids, right? That said, overall, really kind of a fun experience. It's a fun movie to go through, so I hope that you'll do it. Go check out X on all kinds of streaming services right now as it stands. I did watch it on Amazon Prime. I actually bought it because, I don't know, I'm the only one that still buys movies these days. And CDs, okay? I thought I had a CD here somewhere, but I don't. Anyway, good show. Go check it out, X. Okay, getting a 7 on the Scurred scale. That's going to do it for this edition of Scurred. And as I always say, I'm Exorcist. And until next time, I hope you sleep tight.